Bengals fans, training camp is officially underway, and it took just one practice for one of the biggest storylines of the summer to completely change the conversation around this team. Everyone came into day one hoping to see fresh starts, healthy competition, and the first signs of what this roster could become in 2026. Instead, before practice could really settle in, something happened that immediately grabbed everyone's attention and left people waiting for answers. Before we get into all the details, if you're the type of fan who wants every breaking update, every important development from training camp, and every major Bengals story as it happens, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. Training camp moves fast, and there will be new developments almost every day that Bengals fans won't want to miss. Now let's get to what really matters. The biggest headline coming out of the very first day of Bengals training camp is, without question, the situation involving Shemar Stewart. It happened almost immediately after the team began its 11-on-11 work, completely changing the mood around practice. According to reports from the field, Stewart appeared to suffer what looked like a knee injury during the session. Videos that quickly began circulating showed his knee bending awkwardly before he went to the ground. He was able to get up, but it was obvious something wasn't right. He favored the injured leg while trying to put weight on it, and eventually he had to be taken off the field on a cart. At this point, there has been no official confirmation regarding the severity of the injury. That's the important part. Everyone is still waiting for more information before jumping to conclusions. However, based on what many observers believed they saw from the video, there is hope that the injury could simply be a hyperextended knee rather than something significantly more serious. Even so, that's hardly the way anyone wanted training camp to begin. This was supposed to represent a fresh start for Shemar Stewart. After a rookie season that never really developed the way anyone hoped, there was genuine excitement about seeing what he could accomplish with a full offseason behind him. Last year simply never seemed to get going for Stewart. Injuries limited his ability to establish momentum, and instead of building confidence throughout the season, he spent much of the year trying to catch up. That made this training camp especially important. Everything about the beginning of camp suggested an opportunity to finally turn the page. A healthy off-season. A chance to compete from day one. An opportunity to prove why the Bengals were excited about bringing him into the organization in the first place. Instead, before the first day could even really begin, everyone was once again talking about another knee injury. That's what makes this situation so frustrating. It's not just the injury itself, it's the timing. Training camp is where players earn trust. It's where coaches evaluate progress. It's where players build chemistry with teammates and establish momentum heading toward the regular season. Missing any amount of time during camp can make that process significantly more difficult, especially for a player who was hoping to make a major leap this season. Right now, nobody knows exactly how much time Stewart could miss. If the injury is indeed only a hyperextension, that would obviously be far better than many alternative possibilities. But even then, the question becomes how quickly he can return and whether he'll be able to pick up where he left off. Every practice matters. Every rep matters. For a player expected to contribute to the Bengals' pass rush this season, losing valuable training camp time is something the coaching staff certainly didn't want to see. The entire situation now becomes one of the biggest storylines to monitor over the coming days. The Bengals, their coaches, and the fan base will all be waiting for further medical updates before anyone can truly understand what this means moving forward. Until then, all anyone can really do is hope that the early reactions prove accurate, and that the injury isn't nearly as serious as it first looked. Because if there is one positive that fans are holding on to right now, it's exactly that. There still hasn't been any official word suggesting a long-term injury. That uncertainty leaves room for optimism. At the same time, though, It's impossible to ignore how disappointing this moment was for everyone watching practice unfold. One of the players many people were eager to watch throughout camp suddenly became the biggest injury concern on day one. And just like that, what was supposed to be an exciting opening day immediately became a waiting game. Now the Bengals find themselves hoping that the first major headline of training camp won't end up becoming one of the biggest setbacks of the summer. As soon as more information becomes available about Shamar Stewart's condition, the picture will become much clearer. Until then, Bengals fans are left hoping that what looked like an ugly moment on the practice field turns out to be nothing more than a temporary scare, rather than the beginning of another difficult stretch for the young defensive lineman. While everyone was still trying to process the news surrounding Shamar Stewart, practice continued, and it didn't take long for another storyline to emerge. This one had nothing to do with injuries. Instead, it was all about intensity. If there was one word that described the atmosphere during the first day of Bengals training camp, it was physical. The competitiveness between the offense and defense boiled over on multiple occasions, leading to several heated moments that immediately caught the attention of everyone watching practice. Ja'Marr Chase was right in the middle of it. Reports from the field described multiple dust-ups involving Chase, cornerback DJ Turner, and Jalen Davis. What started as aggressive competition between Chase and Turner eventually escalated, with Jalen Davis becoming involved as well. At one point, emotions reached the point where Ja'Marr Chase threw DJ Turner's helmet. That's obviously the type of moment coaches would rather avoid during training camp. Competitive practices are expected. Physical battles are expected. But once equipment starts flying, everyone understands how quickly situations can get out of control. Still, there are two ways to look at what happened. On one side, some people believe these moments are simply part of football. Players are fighting for roster spots, competing for playing time, and trying to establish themselves before the regular season arrives. Tempers occasionally flare when that level of intensity is present. Others see it differently. They believe practice should remain under control because every unnecessary confrontation interrupts valuable work and creates avoidable risks. That debate immediately became one of the biggest talking points after practice ended. And Jalen Davis found himself at the center of much of it. The young defensive back wasn't involved in just one confrontation. He seemed determined to make his presence felt throughout the afternoon. Besides the exchange involving Ja'Marr Chase, Davis also got into another physical moment with tight end Mike Gesicki. According to reports from practice, Davis jumped onto Gesicki's back after a play during a period when players aren't looking for unnecessary contact. That sequence quickly added another layer to what had already become an extremely physical opening day. By the end of practice, Jalen Davis had established himself as one of the most talked-about defensive players, not because of an interception or a big defensive play, but because of the edge he brought every time he stepped onto the field. And perhaps the most interesting part came after practice. When speaking afterward, Davis didn't back away from the intensity at all. Instead, he embraced it. His message was simple. He said he hopes there's a fight every day. That statement immediately stood out because it perfectly reflected the approach he appeared to bring onto the practice field. Every rep seemed to matter. Every matchup looked personal. Every opportunity appeared to be another chance to prove himself. Whether fans agree with that mentality or not, there's no questioning the energy he played with during the opening practice. Quarterback Joe Burrow also addressed the overall intensity of practice. While acknowledging the competitive fire between teammates, Burrow emphasized something coaches usually stress during training camp. Competition is good. Energy is good. But practice still needs to keep moving. The goal is to improve as a football team, and lengthy confrontations can interrupt that process. Maintaining the balance between playing with emotion and staying focused on the work is something every successful training camp has to manage. That's why these moments always generate mixed reactions. Some fans absolutely love seeing players challenge one another. To them, it shows passion. It shows accountability. It shows that nobody is willing to give an inch, even against teammates. Others would rather see everyone stay composed, avoid unnecessary distractions, and focus entirely on preparation for the season ahead. Neither perspective disappeared after day one. If anything, both sides probably became stronger after watching what unfolded during practice. One thing, however, became very clear. Nobody accused this team of lacking intensity. From the opening whistle until practice concluded, the competitive atmosphere was impossible to ignore. Players weren't simply going through drills. They were battling. Every matchup seemed to carry extra emotion. Every rep looked important. And for several young players trying to establish themselves, that urgency was evident throughout the day. As training camp continues, it'll be interesting to see whether this level of physicality remains part of the daily routine or whether the coaching staff works to dial things back after such an eventful opening practice. Either way, the first day left no doubt that this roster has plenty of competitive personalities, and that alone guarantees training camp will remain one of the biggest storylines to follow over the coming weeks. And now I want to hear from you, Bengals fans. What was your biggest takeaway from the first day of training camp? Are you more concerned about Shamar Stewart's injury? Or did the team's competitive fire leave you feeling encouraged about what's ahead? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I read them all, and your opinion could be featured in our next discussion. If you enjoyed this update, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another breaking Bengals story throughout training camp. There are going to be plenty of developments over the coming days, and we'll be here covering every major update as it happens. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and, as always, Hoo Day!